the most powerful console doesn't always win. In fact, in the history of video games, the strongest hardware is almost never the sales champion. And in the early 2000s, this brutal truth destroyed Microsoft's first great dream. On one side, Japanese sovereignty. On the other, a software giant trying to kick the door down. Today, we're dissecting the clash between the PS2 and the original Xbox. Raw power versus ecosystem. Technical fidelity versus legacy. Did power actually matter, or were we just blinded by the marketing? Take a deep breath. Press X to argue. To understand this war, you have to remember what the world was like in the year 2000. Sony wasn't just a brand. They owned the world after the massive success of the PlayStation 1. The PS2 wasn't just a launch, it was a cultural event. Meanwhile, in Redmond, Microsoft watched as Sony entered people's living rooms, a place where Windows just couldn't dominate. The Xbox was born from a project called the DirectX Box. The goal was simple: bring the power of the PC to the TV. On paper, it wasn't a fair fight. The Xbox was a monster. A 733 megahertz processor against the PS2's 294. Double the RAM. It had a built-in hard drive when the PS2 still forced us to lick our 8 mega memory cards to see if they'd even work. It had a native Ethernet port. The Xbox was the future. Was the PS2 just the present? Let's be honest, technically, the Xbox humiliated the PS2. If you put Splinter Cell running on both consoles side by side, the Xbox version looked a generation ahead. The dynamic shadows, the water reflection, it was night and day. And then we had Halo Combat Evolved. That game changed what it meant to play a shooter on a console. Vast environments, advanced AI, things that Sony's emotion engine sweated just to process. But here's the irony. The PS2 was famous for being a nightmare for programmers. The architecture was so complex that many Western developers hated working on it. So, why didn't the weaker, harder-to-program console stop selling? The answer wasn't in the processor. It was in the disk tray. The secret to the PS2's success wasn't a game. It was a movie. In the year 2000, a DVD player cost around $400 to $500. The PS2 launched for $299, and guess what? It played DVD. Sony placed a Trojan Horse in every parent's living room. You convinced your family it was an investment for the household's entertainment. And as a bonus, you got the hottest gaming console on the planet. The Xbox tried the same, but you had to buy a separate adapter and remote just to watch movies. Point to Sony, and then came the games. Oh, the games. Microsoft had Master Chief. Sony had everyone else. Thanks to the success of the PS1, every Japanese developer, Square Enix, Capcom, Konami, was locked in with Sony. While the Xbox tried to convince the public it was cool and hardcore, the PS2 delivered Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, Metal Gear Solid 3, Shadow of the Colossus, and God of War. Rockstar Games made GTA synonymous with PlayStation back then. The Xbox had the power, but the PS2 had the soul of 2000s pop culture. Even when games were multi-platform and ran better on Xbox, people bought them on PS2. Why? Because all your friends had a PS2. It was the first massive example of the network effect in consoles. The final numbers are surreal. The PS2 sold over 155 million units. The Xbox, around 24 million. A historical blowout. But here's the twist no one tells you. The Xbox wasn't a total failure. It was a laboratory. Without it, we wouldn't have Xbox Live as we know it today. It proved that an internal hard drive was essential, and that the West could indeed build a respectable console. Did power matter? Yes, but not for winning that war. The Xbox's power served to build a foundation for the future. But the PS2? The PS2 proved that consoles don't win by being powerful war machines. They win by being machines of desire. If you could go back to 2002 today with the knowledge you have, would you choose the technical fidelity of the Xbox or the infinite library of the PlayStation? Were you Team Halo or Team GTA? The console war has changed, but the arguments remain the same. Was the original Xbox underrated, or did it get the fate it deserved? Press X in the comments and let the argument begin. If you like real analysis, without filters and without fanboyism, subscribe and hit the bell. The next argument is already being prepared. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.